Hi everyone, hope you are doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, the IEBC was supposed to kick off the certification of voter registration immediately after they cleared out the aspirants who are going to contest in this election. But it is emerging that Wafula Chebukati, who happened to be the IEBC chairman, has decided to postpone that exercise until June 20th. The reason is, remember, this IEBC had already given a contract to a company by the name KPMG to do the audit of that register. And the KPMG company has discovered that there is about 1.5 million voters who are supposed to be removed from the register. So because of that, this company is going to deliver that register back to IEBC after audit on 16th of this month. So according to the information they shared, it is emerging that we have about 246,465 voters who are deceased. Then we have about 481,711 duplicate voters. Then we have about 226,143 voters whose ID do not belong to them. And then we also have about 164,269 voters with the invalid documents. And if you put these figures together, you will find that we have about 1,118,588. This information was shared by the People's Daily, and this is what they are reporting. Let us just go through it. IEBC postponed certification of voter register. Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission IEBC has postponed the certification of voter registration that was set to begin on Thursday, June 9th. The commission said the register was still under audit, and so far, the audit firm KPMG has noted an anomalies that need to be addressed first. Due to the implementation of preliminary audit finding in the register, the commission has decided to address the findings prior to the certifying the register for publication. Wafula Chebukati, IEBC chairman, said during the press brief at the Bomas of Kenya on Wednesday, June 8th. He goes on to say, Chebukati said the register will be certified on or before June 20th after the commission received the final audit from KPMG on June 16th. The commission will thereafter have a stakeholders engagement on June 17. The initial findings shows 246,465 deceased voters, 484,711 duplicate record, 246,143 voters registered with IDs that do not validly belong to them, and 164,269 registered voters with invalid documents, IDs, and the passports. So that is the latest information we have from the IEBC. And the question we are asking on this Punchline today: how did about 481,711 duplicate voters found themselves in the IEBC register? What about 226,143 voters found themselves in the IEBC register registered with IDs belonging to other people. And the 164,269 invalid document voters found themselves in the IEBC record. That's what we want to try and answer on this Punchline today. But before we go deep into that, just a quick request. You might be watching this channel, but you're not yet subscribed. So my humble request, please consider subscribing so that any other time, once we release a video like this one, you will always get notified. Again, to all our 10 subscribers and anyone who drop comment, I must say thank you so much for your unconditional support. Again, I'm requesting to give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend our videos to more viewers. Back to our discussion. Now, some time back, not long ago, is it like 2-3 days ago, when Ruto appeared before the IEBC, and when he was meeting the European Union business community in Kenya, he was raising issues about the removal of 800,000 voters from the IEBC register, especially from the Kenya Kwanza stronghold. That means Rift Valley and Mount Kenya region. Ruto was raising that question. And now, that one aside, it is now emerging that we have about almost 1.1 million voters that are supposed to be removed from IEBC register. So the truth of the matter here is that today, for some of us who have been raising out issues on how Raila Odinga was rigged out, every time I was telling you here that in Mount Kenya and parts of Rift Valley, we have some people in the register who are not really human beings. And today we have been vindicated. We had underage, dead voters, and the ghost voters who are finding their way in the IEBC register. You know, to win a presidential election is just simple. If you have these numbers, just about 800,000 to 1 million votes, this is enough for the IEBC to declare you a winner. So imagine you go into a competition with your opponent and already you have 1 million votes in your pocket. However, means this person will try to compete with you. As long as you remain with that pace, so that he is not ahead of you with about 1 million. Maybe you are just in that race, a difference is just like 200, 300,000, 200, 300,000. Then at the end, you will just add that 1 million. You are ahead of him. That 1 million in the IEBC register, it will be valid because these people are in the IEBC register. So besides stealing, by maintaining a specific logarithm, still you have about 1 million whooping votes on your side. That's how President Uhuru Kenyatta was able to win this election in 2017, together with William Ruto. But Maraga rejected. So Ruto has been crying with a reason that this time round, the dead, the ghost, the underage are not going to vote. These are the people that Chebukati is going to remove from the IEBC register. Remember, those people in Mount Kenya, the youth Ruto has been moving around with, some of them are 17 years and 16 years, but they always vote. This time round, they will not vote. Even in Rift Valley, we have the issue of dead voters finding them, and ghost voters finding themselves in the IEBC register. These are the numbers that Ruto wanted to start with in this election. So when President Uhuru Kenyatta was saying After he finish yake 10, sasa itakuwa ya Ruto 10. Ruto knew that this is the electorate that is going to start with. That is the constituency that he was going to start with. The deceased, ghost, underage. So this time round, they are cleaning the register, and he is complaining. Because Ruto, because he's saying Raila Odinga is the deep state candidate, because of that he should be happy because they are cleaning the register. Lakini kinaya ni kwamba Ruto is complaining. Why? Look at that 481,000 duplicate. That means these are the people in Rift Valley and Mount Kenya who can vote twice. Or you can have 2 people voting using one ID. The issue of IDs belonging to other people used to register. So it means you have voter's card, but ID belongs to another person. So one ID registering like 2 voters or 3. You'll find these people in Rift Valley and Mount Kenya region. Invalid documents. Someone will forge a passport or an ID that has fake number. That's why you see it is always easy to get an ID, even when you are 16 years, 14, when you are in Rift Valley and Mount Kenya. These other areas you will not get. Some people are using passport for children's, because we have children who are passport holders. They are not yet 18 years, but they are using this passport to vote. These things will be found in Rift Valley and Mount Kenya. And in other areas, you know, for you to get an ID when you are 17 years, is either all your parents are dead, and now maybe you need to access some funds from their bank. That's why you will be registered. You will be given an ID when you are just an underage, maybe 17 years or 16. They will give you an ID. But for these other counties from Mount Kenya and Rift Valley, they will not mind. You will just get at the age of 16, 15. So these are things that have been done throughout. There are these allegations. This allegation is out here, that there is possibility these things have been happening. So Chebukati want to clean the register and have a leveled ground to avoid complaints and anything that can force a nullification of this election. So if Ruto was banking on such people to start with, that constituency have been removed as of now. They are going to clean this register, and these people are not going to vote. So there will be a level ground for these people to fight on. And I ask myself a question: why is Ruto and his allies complaining when IEBC is cleaning the register? Why are they complaining? In 2017, Raila Odinga was calling on IEBC to clean the register. They did not. I think today, because Ruto is saying Raila Odinga is a deep state candidate, he should be the one calling IEBC to clean the register. But now, the opposite is happening here. Raila Odinga has no problem with the register. He needs a clean register. But William Ruto does not need a clean register. When they want to remove these people, he is here to complain. He don't want them out. So what does that one tell you? There is a possibility these guys never won election in 2013 and 2017. That possibility is there. So in as much Ruto is moving in huge crowd, he understands that it is not easy to turn this crowd into votes. So you create a perception with a plan to steal. So that now, when you are stealing, it will be difficult that this guy was having huge rallies. So those people have turned to vote. That is the direction he was heading to. So the issue here is that they are going to clean the register. If he was banking on that, then it is not going to work for him. This time round, the register will be clean, and the person who has suffered the most because of using a register with the questionable voters in the register is now going to be served with justice. So this is the current situation we are having as of now. So if Ruto was banking on these people, let him have a second thought. But the most of the complaint, but if you see the kind of complaint Ruto is raising out, by the way, time and again, it tells you that Ruto is a decided man, and he knows that he's going to the opposition side. Maybe the people around him, they're the ones who still have hopes that they're going to win this election. But Ruto himself understands that he don't have a chance this time round. He needs to get out to the people. You don't need to depend on Mount Kenya and Rift Valley alone to become president. He will need to get to the Western region, Nyanza region, Coast region, and other areas as early as possible. Not as just coming in late because you are discovering that you will not have the Mount Kenya region as a whole. I don't know what to think about this, but that's my view. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to me up to this far. May good God bless you, and see you in our next video.